Arsène Wenger's got another new idea. Since he became this FIFA chief of global football, he's had so many ideas that I don't think the Arsène Wenger that was Arsenal manager would have.
Like when he tried to abolish throw-ins.
Did he do that?
Do you see that?
Try to do that, really?
You know, he hates throw-ins. He basically says if there's a throw-in, there is a little bit of a noble quality to the idea as well. But he basically says that if you win a throw-in, you've won something. So it should be advantageous to you. He says, but it's not advantageous to you because you have a player off the pitch who has to take the throw-in.
Oh, God.
And so the other team have 11 players on the pitch and you have 10.
Interesting.
So it's kind of unjust. So he went to war with the concept of the throw-in at one point. I was like, this isn't a real thing here, Arsène, surely.
Yeah, this one's a bit more, I guess, could happen. Arsène Wenger is set to maintain his push for a change to the offside law in football. Current rules deem a player offside if any part of his head, body or feet is closer to their opponent's goal line than both the ball and the second last opposition player in their first half. These regulations have been in place, as you guys know, since 1990. But the Daily Telegraph reports former Arsenal boss and now chief, as I said, of global football development for FIFA, wants to change this for the first time in over 30 years. The report suggests that the rule change, and I kind of agree here, the rule change would mean there needs to be daylight between the attacker and the defender for offside to be called. Now, trials have happened already in Sweden, Italy and the Netherlands, and Arsène Wenger is convinced because of the reaction to these trials that this should be a thing now that gets rolled out all over the place. Would you think daylight between the attacker and defender? I kind of get it though. It makes it a lot easier, doesn't it? It's a goal. There's daylight.
Yes, I think that's what it gives us. So if we explore the positive first of all, it means that there isn't any jeopardy. It means that there is clearly daylight or there is not clearly daylight, and therefore we should never end up with a situation where things look onside and they're ruled offside, or vice versa. Yeah. So if there is daylight, it sounds very simple, but I also think that there's a lot of problems with this. It encourages negativity. If you want football to be a spectacle, if you like the idea of sport, particularly football being entertainment, then this is bad for you.
What, in terms of defenders now just sitting back?
Yeah, it will encourage managers to set up their team in a defensive way. That's what this rule definitely amplifies. I don't necessarily conform to the idea that football should be entertainment. I think football's about winning. I think winning is entertaining in itself. If you want entertainment, go and watch a Marvel film or whatever.
No, but you can understand why they're going down the entertainment route now. I mean, you look at a lot of the Premier League owners are American. And their thing is all about razzmatazz and entertainment. They want to see as many goals as possible. They want everything to be like
I think
American
they do. I totally agree with you. I think that they do. I think that the product of the Premier League is worth more money if it can be deemed entertainment. Yeah. But I find loads of things about the negative side of football entertaining.
Oh, mate, I've seen some really good 0-0s.
I think 0-0s can be entertaining. I think goal-mouth scrambles can be entertaining. I love a clearance off the line. I think Ashley Cole was the best clearer off a liner ever.
But that being said, what was the best game this season?
The best game this season, potentially Chelsea 4, Man City 4.
There you go, goals.
Yes. I think that you can say that goals mean entertainment, but I would also argue that I personally, the way that I consume football, if that's what you want to call me, a consumer of football, I don't care about how entertaining it is. I want to see my team win. I want to see my team score a last-minute winner against Tottenham. I want to see my team defend resolutely. I want to see my team put pride in the badge, and I find all of those things entertaining.
Yeah, when you're watching Chelsea, but as a neutral when you're watching a game where you've then obviously
but the priority shouldn't be the neutral
in it just being
the priority shouldn't be the neutral. We don't that's irrelevant. How a neutral feels about watching a game of football that doesn't concern him is almost irrelevant. The product isn't about making it entertaining for someone who isn't invested. The motivation of a football manager should be to do the best by his team and by his set of fans.
All right, Jamie Carragher's taken to Twitter and he's responded to this suggestion of a new offside rule. He said this will be terrible for the game as teams will defend completely differently than we see now. Lots of low blocks and teams being negative. You spoke about this, Rory. How would you defend a set piece? We don't need more advantage for the attacker. The game is seeing more goals scored than ever. True? You look at the amount of goals that Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City scored this season. You know, it's not like they need any more assistance in scoring.
No. I do think that the original idea of what the offside rule was supposed to protect us from was a good, noble idea. It was to protect us from... Don't be a goal hanger.
Yeah,
that's what it was supposed to stop. it's actually just evolved into something way beyond. It's the Dr. Frankenstein of football, isn't it? We have created this monster that is now consuming us.
Yeah. Are we trying to change too much about this wonderful game? Like even with VAR, and I know this is a completely different discussion, but just in terms of those debates that people used to have in the pub or
I think this all the
school.
time.
Do you know what I mean? We used to have those debates, and I didn't mind them. We shouldn't have scored. It was a handball. It wasn't a handball. We used to enjoy these. Almost like we're just trying to make the game that wasn't perfect, and we didn't need it to be perfect. We're trying to make it perfect. And in doing so, it's now become, as you say, a Frankenstein. It's a monster.
Yeah, well, I certainly think it's true with regard to VAR. I think when VAR as a concept was discussed and brought in, I was fully supportive of it. I am not anti-tech. I think goal line tech is a fantastic addition to the game.
Simple.
It works 9 times out of 10. Well, more than that. It almost always works, and therefore there is no jeopardy. There is almost no delay to finding out. So let's roll with it. There's no issue with that. I think VAR though is problematic, and there seems to be this reluctance from anyone involved in VAR to admit that it's been a mistake, and it has been a mistake, because if you think about what it's done for the game, and then you make a column of pros, and then you think about what it's robbed from the game, what it's taken away from us, what it's snatched, I think it has changed the game irreparably. I think it's ruined certain atmosphere in stadiums. Completely. And if you think about the point of being a football fan, why the vast majority of football people go to football, why do 1 million people up and down the country dedicate their time and their money to following teams up and down the country? The reason is because effectively we're all chasing that buzz, aren't we? We're all chasing that buzz of a last-minute winner against Tottenham. Yeah. We're all chasing that buzz.
That moment.
Exactly. And realistically, you don't get that moment anymore, because the ball hits the back of the net, you celebrate, but it will affect the way that you celebrate, the commitment that you give to the celebration, and then you don't get it in its purest form, because you celebrate, but you catch yourself. Then the goal is awarded and you kind of celebrate, but it's not the same spontaneity. You're always worried about over-celebrating because the away fans are about to laugh at you when VAR ultimately ruled it out. So I think that VAR has been so negative overall to football.
You know the big one, and some might say, yeah, but they got it right. It kind of goes back to a few years, the Raheem Sterling goal. Was it against Spurs in
against
the Champions
Tottenham
League? Yeah, where literally everyone went crazy.
The ground went potty, didn't it?
Mental.
There was a more recent example.
Guardiola was up and down the touchline, and then they brought it back, and it was not.
Well, there was a more recent example. Do you know where I really saw it? Coventry City in the FA Cup against Manchester United this season, because their fans, Coventry City fans, they don't have VAR, so they are celebrating in the pure and true way. Yeah. So when you saw their fans go in potty, and they went as well, you know, people like to talk about that, don't they? The way that the end falls, or the limbs in the away end. That Coventry City end is one of the best ends I've seen celebrate a game of football for ages. The moment that the ball hit the back of the net, it felt like they were on their way to the FA Cup final. Their fans went. And ultimately, it was for nothing. They'll never do it again. It will affect how they celebrate in the future. Yeah,
it's funny. A text has just come in from Dave in Northampton. He says, don't forget Manchester United shouldn't even be in the FA Cup final. They were beaten 4-3 by Coventry in the semi-final. There is zero chance they'll beat Man City. And you're right. Look, what we're trying to say in conclusion here, Mr. Arsène Wenger, if you are listening, no doubt you are. Everyone listens to talkSPORT. Stop. Stop with these ideas. Just keep football the way it is, please. In fact, can we reverse and get rid of some of the ideas you've suggested? VAR being one of those, please, if you don't mind.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app, and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.